welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're trying a whole new thing. We're doing a live stream on YouTube, which I will let you know this is the first time that we're hosting that live stream on YouTube. So we're asking for grace, and we're fantastic anyway. So we're going to roll and just be fantastic however that happens. Welcome, 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 though. We are very, very excited to be with you for the next hour and probably a little bit. And here is how we're going to flow. So you see these beautiful looking people on here. They're going to introduce themselves to you as they speak, so you can learn a little bit more about them. So we're going to do a little bit of welcome, set our intention, and then we're going to do what we do at Sacred Leaders, and we are going to do a very, very brief meditation so we can get grounded and settled, a little bit of breath work, and then we'll take you through. So before that, though, Kemba is going to ground us in the land acknowledgement and our African way of opening, which will be a libation. I think that's what she's gonna do. And then we will go into a little bit about SLT, a little bit of history and kind of our journey. We'll share with you what the curriculum looks like, very high level, and we will share with you how to apply. But the key, the juice of this conversation will be a very authentic, transparent, how we roll conversation we're gonna have together, and you will bear witness to our conversation. And this conversation really is about, an opportunity to share with you from those of us who have gone through this process, and share with you anything that we think might be important, and then we'll give you an opportunity to ask questions. So where you can put your questions in the chat. Our tech folks are behind the scene, and they will share with us the questions. We will do our best to answer your questions, and then we'll close off kind of how we started. That's the flow, and we're gonna do the very best we can to put everything in this hour and a little bit. But for now, we need to start in a good way. So I am going to turn it over to you, Kemba.
Thank you so very much, Aina-Nia. Really honored for us to gather and, the many lands that we're on. First of all, giving thanks for the stewards of these lands, the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Mississaugas of Squamish Island, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and knowing that, this work that we do is the basis for the technologies that we learn from the land. There's this saying to go and touch grass, and we're thankful that we have grass that we can use to ground us and all the learnings that we can take for um, take into our practice. So thank you so very much. We give thanks for our land. We give thanks for the air, the wind, and we give thanks for the treaties that we continue to honor and be in right relationship with our indigenous communities. Especially want to honor those of our community members who are Afro-Indigenous, who can hold ways of knowing in the indigenous knowings of Turtle Island and also of our African ancestors as well. So let's take a deep breath in that honoring. And of course, continuing to be in this opening up in a good way, we want to invite our ancestors into this process. I have here a snake plant. I'm going to show it for everyone. And the snake plant comes from Nigeria, and it is hardy and resistant, and it's not something um, that will be easily defeated, and we bring in our ancestors with that knowing that this process is one that fortifies us. So just taking another deep breath in, calling in Mother, Father, God, beloved ancestors, giving thanks for the technology that we know is supporting us, all the folks behind the scenes giving thanks for the sacred leaders on this call, all the people that are watching today, and giving thanks for Aina-Nia, Ayodele, Ajwa, Ifayami, who will be guiding us through a beautiful hour so we can learn more about how we can delve into our vision of self. And I'm going to invite my family here to call in the ancestors that they want to bring into this live today.
Carisha Sherilyn Smith,
Ashe,
Theo Eck,
Ashe,
Michael Blake,
Ashe,
Pumbaa
Young,
Blenheim,
Ashe,
Kua Walcott,
Ashe,
Myrtle Downer,
Ashe,
Doris Hay,
Hilda
Ashe,
Smith, Tessa
Ashe,
Smith,
Milton
Ashe,
Miller,
Ashe,
Esther
Veronica
Miller,
Claudette Moody,
Ashe,
oh,
Ashe.
Margaret
I'm
Smith,
calling Rose by. Ashe, Ashe,
Sue Eck,
Ashe, Ashe. And
Mama
I'm going to
Valley.
say Ashe for all the names that we haven't called, all those who crossed over in the middle passage, who transitioned so that we can live. We say, drink and quench your thirst. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe,
It is
Ashe.
done.
Day.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
I love when you open us up, Kemba. I really, really appreciate that. Because the thing about your opening is that, yes, we are calling in the ancestors, but there's this learning that is happening also. You're always teaching. So really, really appreciate that from you. So I wanna share. I think this is a little bit of what we do. So, if you're just joining us, or if you have been on for a few minutes, this is the information session for our Sacred Leaders training that begins in April this year for our 10th cycle. And
Mm,
so we're very intentional. It is our intention that this time that we're together, that you will get the information that you need. You will get the information that you need. We have a few things we're going to share with you, but we know in everything that we share, there might be that one or two or three things that you need. So it's
mm,
our intention that you receive what you need. We
mhm,
also intend that you be inspired for your own good, for your own good. Understand that this really is a conversation. We're hoping, it is our intention that we will be like, around the dining table kind of thing. So
mhm,
to get us grounded and to join the consciousness that Kemba has already started in grounding us, I'm going to invite us to relax our bodies wherever you are, whether you're in a car or you're at home, sitting, lying down, you're standing. Just relax your body with the breath. Nice inhale and release that. Let it all go. And if you feel like counting is going to help you, let's do a
mm,
4-second inhale and a longer exhale for about 6 seconds. Nice inhale. Ah, let it all go. And another. And breathe in and release. Allowing your mind to be present with the now. Anything that happened before now is gone.
mm.
And what is to come, we have no clue, really. And so we stay present, inviting spirit in. Deep inhale. Creator, create through us. Ancestors, guide us. Totems, guides, guards, be with us. Come stay with us. And we breathe and allow. Ah. We invite you to bring all of your attention right now to your chest, to your chest,
Mm.
to your heart. And if you feel comfortable, place your palm on your chest and just be present to your inhale and your exhale. Just be present, just today, just this moment. Mindful, mindful of the rhythm of your breath. And breathe to your own rhythm. Always letting that exhale completely out. And smile so your body knows you're having fun. And we breathe. And we breathe. And if you can, bring all of your attention right now to the middle of your forehead, your third eye, and allow that inhale to almost like it's pulling through your third eye. And we're going to exhale through the top of your head to your own rhythm. Nice inhale through your third eye. And release. Stay in presence. Stay in presence. And as though there is a opening above your head. There's a opening above the crown of your head. Your ori. We want you to bring your attention to your ori, to your crown right now. And this time we're going to take a nice inhale. And on your exhale, exhale to the sound Om, A-U-M. So nice inhale to your own rhythm when you're ready. And inhale, inhale, inhale. And release when you're ready. And relax. And just stay with us in that vibration. Time and space is relative. Stay with us in that vibration. Feel the energy. Feel the flow. Feel the energy. Feel the flow. Bring your palms together. Bring your palms together and rub them together really, 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 really fast. Feel the energy in your chi. Feel that energy in your chi. And when you're ready, just wash your body with that beautiful energy, because we can heal ourselves. We can heal ourselves in the present. And we get back into this physical space. Thank you so much. That feels good. That feels good for me. I don't know about you, but it certainly felt good for me. Thank you so much. If you are just joining, this is the information session for Sacred Leaders Training that we begin in April. So I want to show you a little press, a little deck that that we have, the team has put together. A beautiful, beautiful deck. Well, just for a little bit. So let me present this. Okay. Okay, we're gonna get there. Just give me 1 sec.
Aina-Nia, can I share a reading while you're doing that?
Please share a reading while I'm doing that.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, Aina-Nia has a book entitled Self: An Inner Journey to Remembering Your Power. Beautiful. And I want to share day 23 for those of you who may be with us and may have your book with you. And the title of day 23 is New Self. And the affirming thought is the purpose of life is to create yourself anew in the grandest version of the greatest vision ever you held about who you are. It is to announce and become, express and fulfill and know your true self. Now, that quote is from Neil Donald Walsh. And what Aina-Nia writes in the affirming reflection is the best student comes to every experience as new. They approach all life lessons as though it has never happened before. Beloved, discover, see, and experience all things as if it is your first time. Make things already existing new by creating and introducing new thoughts, feelings, and emotions into each experience. Today, you have a choice to discover, create, introduce, see, and have new experiences. You get to choose exactly what you desire and to do it gently and lovingly. You get to create new life affirming experiences. You have the power to create first in your mind and then in actuality. And we're thankful that you can choose new. So thank you for joining us today so that you can choose new. So Anya, just wanted to read that as you transition us into this beautiful slide.
Listen, that's why we can't do without you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, want to just share with you, those of you who are on here, want to share with you a little bit about Sacred Leaders Training. Give you, I like to share the story, the original story. So, Sacred Leaders Training came out of what we now call SLT, came out of my own vision and a calling from Spirit for to be one of the work that I do in this world. And after 16 years, it still remains one of my favorite ways to serve. And when I'm asked that question, the answer is always the same. Sacred Leaders Training is one of my favorite ways to serve, and has been modeled in many of the model has been used in many of my other work. But I want to share with you that in 2009, Spirit asked me to sit and be quiet during one of my fasting and meditation day and to write. And what came out of that was 10 modules of a curriculum called Sacred Leaders Training SLT Plus. And the directives in that process has remained the same. So the time we start, how many people come into the work, who the women are, how the women are chosen, what we do during the process. Those things are staple and they have remained the same. However, over the years, of course, as I grow, as the team grows, we have shifted many things, and I'd say have advanced even more so. But the core of this process is about women living their greatest life and living out loud and living why they came on this planet. What is their purpose? Living their purpose. That's the core of it. And I would say the icing on all of that is, of course, the sisterhood that is created. So we want to share with you a little bit in visual form what this looks like. And here we go. So we have been transforming women leaders, their families, and their communities since 2009. So what you're seeing is some clips of a little bit of visual from our years together. Bringing communities together is what we do. So while we have been doing SLT for 16 years, we have only had 10 SLT plus cycles. And that is because we always want to make sure that when we do the cycles, because of its intensity, that both Kemba and I are in a space that we can hold the consciousness of the work that is required. So we've been together 60, we've been doing the work 16 years with 10 cycles for that reason. And in between that, we have done many, many other things. And it's always about communities coming out and communities being together and us inspiring and sharing together. So we say we lead with wisdom and we walk with every single woman that has come into our community. Our work is, of course, around ancient practices. I love this piece, so we wanted to show you a little bit of dance at one of our culminations. So we're grounded in African-centered knowledge system and indigenous practices across paths, right? But at the core of it, it's about African-centered knowledge system because that's really who we are. And we invite other practices in to our work because what I've come to know is that throughout indigenous paths, there's so many similarities. We have, numbers might be different. Might focus on different numbers, might focus on different colors, might focus on different rituals, but the rituals themselves even look alike, right? So we invite other indigenous practices in, including the land that we're on. What you're seeing here is I want to particular last just recently we were in Grenada, and as part of our culmination, what you're seeing there, you're seeing digging. The women are actually planting a tree, and it was just profound and amazing. We will talk a little bit more about the other places that we have been. So, sacred leader is, we do not see leadership as a title. We don't see leadership as a title. It's, for us, leadership is a way of being. It's about how we show up in the world and how are we contributing to the world? How are we leading in our contribution today? And what legacies are we creating? That's core. And that's why it's so important that we focus on the purpose, the reason that women are on this planet at this time. Our cycles, we invite Black, Indigenous, and racialized women to be part of this work with us, specifically because of our unique journey and our ways of living here. And we'll ask that question, what is sacred leadership? We'll ask it of the sacred leaders that are on here. So you will probably get several different answers. You'll probably get the same answers, but at the core, you will get an understanding of what we're doing. One of the things that we pride ourselves most on in SLT is that everything we do, that when we are working on strengthening a woman and strengthening a sacred leader, it's not just about her.
Mhm.
The work impacts her family, it impacts her community, and there are many communities that women are a part of, and ultimately the world. So how do we measure success? For us, it's about, is the work as a spirit leader, as sacred leadership, is that rippling to her family? Is that rippling and showing up in her community? Is that rippling and showing up in the way she's serving the world? Always from an African-centered knowledge system. That's what we're talking about. When we talk about Ubuntu, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about activating your vision and your purpose for being on this planet beyond you. And so we want to make sure that there is an understanding of why we do this work. Why we do this work, let me say that again, is way beyond just the singular person. It is about what is happening in your family, in your community, and in the world, and how you're serving. And so the team put this quote in here because I guess they like it, and I like it too. Talking about what do we do in this process? Really, we're going into our 10th cycle. Every single cycle is different. every group of women bring each other in. They bring themselves in, and they bring what they need to be healing and teaching and learning from it. And our role is to hug them, hug their vision, hug their process, hold them and love them unconditionally so that we can support in taking their greatest, their highest vision out into the world. That's what this is about. And so, of course, when I said to you that we actually have 16 years but 10 cycle, it's because it is so crucial. So one of the things that we do, and Kemba will talk some more about it, is that we do culminations, right? So at the end of the 10 months, we actually disappear. We go away, we disconnect, and we go to a country or go to a land where African indigenous practices are still being held in some way or another. So, what you're seeing here is the journey. Our first culmination was in Ghana. And I laugh because I look at myself 16 years ago and how have I grown? Oh my goodness. And you can see Kemba in there. Kemba was a part of that first group. Our sister Vivine, our sister Keisha Monique, our sister Sandra, our sister Grace. The beauty of all of this is, and we'll talk about it some more, is that these women continue to come back. They continue to serve. They serve their family. They serve their world. They serve their community. And then, of course, that's the Cuba crew. And you can see Sheena there. Sheena, you look the same way. With all our sister Carol and Hathora, and of course Mayoti and Kemba and myself, and then the Jamaica crew. Now, no, we had an Ontario crew. So that's the group that Natasha, you were such a baby, Natasha,
I
that
know.
Natasha was a part of with all of her sisters and so many, so many, so many women. That was such a beautiful group. And then, as you can see, Natasha also came to Jamaica because she came to serve in our culmination. And so that was the group of women. We went for a kongpong in Jamaica, and we had an amazing, amazing time at that culmination. And then what else did we do? Went to Costa Rica, but Puerto Viejo, which was another amazing experience. And you can see you can see the group of women. I don't think that was everyone, but it was a few of the women on bikes riding around Puerto Viejo and having a ball. That was a powerful, powerful experience. And then we went to Antigua and went up into the hills. As you can see, another group of women doing amazing things in this world. And in the 2024, I think, we were in Belize and spent some time with the Garifuna people and went to experience the Mayan ruins. It was again all of these combinations are always so powerful, and you can see the rowdy group here, the last group here in white, in Grenada. Our newest group. We just came back from Grenada in December, and yes, that was another profound culmination. And we just keep it moving. We keep it moving. We wanted to show you, highlight for you a little bit of the closing, and some of the things that women have said, over the years. We could share tons and tons of this with you, but we are sharing a little bit for you to see today. And one of the things that we do is we also serve local communities. So when we go away, and even before we go away, we do community service with local communities here in Toronto, here in Ontario, or in Canada, I should say, because we've done it in Edmonton as well. And then we do it in the land that we're on. So these are just a little bit of just some clips from some of the work that we have done throughout the years. And so we have a tremendously powerful group that we call the Sacred Leaders Community. And we have seen weddings, we have seen pregnancies, we have seen births, we have seen funeral rites, just about everything, as we do in community together. And the women, when we have the conversation, will share more with you. We wanted to just give you a little bit of highlight and inspire you to consider this amazing experience that we know is not for everyone, and it's probably not for everyone in this at the same time. That's what I've learned over these 16 years. It's not for everyone at the same time because the women actually call each other in. It's been pretty profound. I think I want to just read this narrative here that we have. We said SLT is a process built on the understanding that sisterhood is necessary. So we don't see sisterhood as a luxury. We see sisterhood as a necessity. And that's how we thrive. That's how we hold each other. And I often tell the story of when my daughter had lost her husband, and we went to the funeral. It was during COVID, and I came home, and as you know, everybody was isolated when you travel, especially you had to be isolated. And I got home, and for weeks I had more food than any I could. I was feeding the community. I was literally calling people and say, "Come and pick up food at the door," because this community had left so much. They had made sure that I was taken care of. Everything that I need. At one point, there were 4 dozen eggs because different people had brought different things. And that's not just about me, that's just about anybody as they need it or as they let the community know. So it is not a luxury. Sisterhood for us is definitely a necessity. So we hope we're going to have a conversation. We hope that, if it is your time, that you will take the jump. And we won't tell you who is taking that jump, but that was that was quite a jump. That was captured by Sonia, one of our sacred leaders. And yes, we'll tell you that was Natasha jumping. That was several years ago. I think that was back in 2016. So I'm gonna stop sharing for now, and I just want us to have a conversation. And when we're hoping that you will have questions. Please put them in the live chat, and our team is working behind the scenes, and they are going to they will capture that for us, and we'll give it time to have those conversations. So, uh, Kemba, Natasha, Sheena, I am going to ask each of you to introduce yourself how you want the world to know you. I'm going to introduce myself because I have not yet. And then we're going to go into a conversation, and we want to start off with, after you've introduced yourself, with what you think is so unique about the process, so you can kind of start thinking about that. And Yeah, so everyone, I'm Aina-Nia Ayodele Ajwa Ifayemi. It is important that I say my name in its completeness and share what they mean. So Aina-Nia is she who has purpose. Ayodele is joy has come home. Ajwa because I was born on a Monday, and Ifayemi means Ifa befits her. And so Ifa, a Yoruban tradition, is the way that I lead my life. That's what guides me. And so I introduce myself to you in the name and nature of my way of being in this world. And I'm going to turn it over to Kemba to introduce herself, and then Natasha and Sheena, and we'll start our conversation.
Thank you, Aina-Nia. Good morning, everyone. Yes, my name is Kemba, and I was in the first cycle of Sacred Leaders training. And, I've said this often, but I don't think I've said it enough. This process saved my life. And I know that me staying here and moving from being student to coordinator to now being a teaching assistant and elder in the community has been divinely laid out, and I'm really thankful that Aina-Nia and I met so many years ago, and I decided to say yes before Aina-Nia did. So
Because you're a stalker.
I am a stalker. It was really great seeing that slideshow because, seeing us over the years. But you know what I was doing? I was like, oh my God, I don't have that dress anymore. Natasha, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, my sister Ken. But I was saying the same thing. I'm like, where are those earrings? They were back then. Thank you. Greetings, everybody. My name is Natasha Ama-Ek. I am a sacred leader,
Mhm.
and I am really excited and feel honored to be here and just to look back at the years. Those pictures brought me right back. Like, wow, this was a critical foundation all those years ago uh,
Mhm.
that has continues to support me, my family, and anyone that we come into contact with. So I'm just truly grateful. Very necessary for me to be here as Natasha Amaek. So with love, I pass this on to my sister Sheena.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, everyone. It's really an honor to be here. I'm Sheena Patricia Blake Brown. Um, I'm from cycle 4. It feels like a million years ago. I'm like, I haven't aged, but I haven't, all at the same time. Um, I was thinking like what brought me here, and I think I'm going to echo what Kemba shared is that like this saved my life. I was sitting in a boardroom downtown like 2014 or something, and I saw the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my whole life. And she was like, what's going on with you?" I'm like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what to do with myself." And she told me to call Aina-Nia. And from that, you remember, mommy? And from that moment, I think my whole world changed, and it Sacred Leaders has changed everything about my life. And I now am in community in ways that this is this is how I lead, and it comes from this. It comes from Sacred Leaders.
Amazing. Yes, I remember that, Sheena. I remember that call.
Then what are you? I'm like, I don't
What do you want from me? And it was one of those, I remember this particularly because it was one of those times when we had actually closed applications. And you convinced me to open up the application for you. And we did. And I am so grateful that we did. And I'm so
You do.
grateful that we continue to allow spirit to guide us. So yeah, let's stay off mute and let's talk about it. What is unique? What is so unique about this process? I think both Natasha and Sheena, you can't all three of you, but because Kemba is so stapled. What is unique about this process for you?
For me, like you're in process with other people, but it's a process that allows you to go inside and tell the truth and just ask, what you value, like really go inside. And there's space for that. And you're held in that
Hmm.
while you're doing that, no matter what it looks like. That's unique to me, that I can be in a group, but also have that support while I really go inside and be guided. So
Thank you.
I think it was a lot of like I grew up with all brothers, and then all of a sudden I'm like thwarted into sisterhood and in this way that I had never known before. And then it was like, and I'm saying it now because this is what, like 11 years later, my whole world is sisterhood. I don't even I've even it's only because we're having this conversation that I've forgotten that I once didn't live in sisterhood. But there's no sister that I communicate with that I don't call sister. There's no woman that I communicate with that I don't call that. And it has governed how I lead at work. It governs how I lead in the home. that is the uniqueness. And I think the other thing I wanted to mention was that uh, academia was like something that was easy for me my whole life. And then I came to Sacred Leaders, and it was the biggest challenge I'd ever faced because it was the
Mm.
first time I had to be honest with myself, tell
Mhm.
myself the truth, be real. And when I would refuse to, uh, mommy and auntie would make me become aware of myself and hear my own lies to myself. And I'm so deeply grateful for that. I eternally grateful for that.
Mhm. Mhm.
I want to add, this was my experience, but I think this is the experience of a lot of women who come into this process who are people leaders, carers for folks. They don't necessarily have a lot of spaces where they have other women who understand them, who are willing to listen and receive, and they are dependent upon in ways that are emotionally, physically draining them. And, sacred leaders training is a space where, we, like we, you and I, but also all the women in the process will take care of them. I remember a situation recently where, a sister wasn't well, and someone who she had barely met before went and took care of her. And I think to this day, she's still blown away by that,
Mhm.
right? So this community is such that those of us who are people leaders and have been people leaders for decades and not known what to be consistently cared for or thought about, to receive that in ways that is not contractual, not transactional,
Mhm.
is affirming. So that's what this process reminds me of, because I was in a space where I was peer counseling and doing a lot of things. And I also needed those spiritual tools to ground me and bring me to people who thought the same way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's my feeling in this moment. Not my
Mhm.
feeling, my feeling and my knowing in this moment.
Mhm. Mhm. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kemba. I wonder, think a lot about how how do you how are you in community, right? In Sacred Leaders community. How do you what are some of the gifts, but even some of the challenges um of being in community? Because we are what I've found, it's interesting because I will hear from everybody, right? I do. I will hear from different sacred leaders, but that doesn't mean that they're all together at the same time, you know? And we will have some kind of gathering, and this group will come, and then we have another gathering and there's another group, and we are doing the process, and different people will show up at different times. So when we talk about the sacred leaders community, we're not saying it's a community where everybody's under this shelter, this is in this box together, right? It's a community that we're living our own lives, and there is this almost like a responsibility, is what I'm hearing from some of the women, and an accountability to being in this sacred leaders community. What would you any of you say to that? Because that's what I hear a lot, and that's what I see.
I can maybe start. I think I have a unique position in terms of being connected to folks, but you know, there's this way in which many of us will be like, "Oh, I'm just calling because I thought about you." And this kind of thing where intuitively, because we have these connections, we will even call into our sisters who oh, I have this feeling that this person needs something. Call someone randomly or text them randomly, like, girl, I've been going through it. I'm so glad that you touched base. Or
Mhm.
this really exciting thing is happening, and well, why haven't you told us that this very exciting thing is happening?
Yeah.
And making the connection between the wider world and our community. This process is such that women deepen their skills and their experience in things. And someone will be like, because I see part of my role and my vision as being a connector. So someone will come to me and be like, hey, do you know anyone who does so, so, so? And I'm like, oh yeah, my sister does Reiki. Let me hook you up with, right? And so that's um, beyond the actual process. Being community means um, this mutual aid, mutual care, but also connecting folks in the community to sacred leaders who have specific gifts that they um, can offer the world in a particular way. And that's how I experience myself. One of the ways I experience myself. So I'll turn over to my sisters.
I think I echo some of the things that Kemba has shared. For me, it's like if I come across something and I'm like, I'm gonna just send it to this person. If it's a quote, whatever it is, or just something. Just there's a community, there's people that I can just, that will just come up into my thoughts, and I just want to share it with them and they receive it. And we do that whenever we feel led to, and trusting that it's received in love whatever it is, that we come and we lead from a place of love.
Mm-hmm.
And love doesn't always, mean calling you every day. And I can love you from here, right where you are, all the time.
All the time.
Chaff.
Yep. I would I would say the same. I mean, I find myself, I'm not always physically around, but I was thinking this morning, like I have only ever had really wonderful things to say about all of my sisters. And like Kemba said, there's this thing that comes up. It's like, oh yeah, Sabrina knows how to do that. Oh yeah, Alix knows how to do that. I will make sure that I make that connection when I can, or even like, can you help me sort my brain out? Like those pieces.
Yeah. Take me off the ledge. Take me off the ledge.
Yeah, take me
You
off the
know,
ledge.
there are folks in, everybody knows this. I pull on sacred leaders for even the work that I'm doing, right? So before I look anywhere else, I look inside. And there are sacred leaders that I know I can call on because you all have such unique gifts, right? And so I often think that I have a whole community I can never be without, because I have a whole community of people that I can just tap into to support something that I am lacking, or probably just to be inspired by. Or, I get these, well, Mama, I had a dream about you, right? I get those. And just knowing that no matter where folks are at and how they
Mhm.
are at where they're at, we're here.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There is home. I saw
Yeah.
that this morning when Natasha and Sheena came into the screen together. It's like, ah! So really loving that. I want to talk about the process though, if you can remember, because both of you, next week when we have an information session, we'll have somebody who is newer, but both of you are what? Natasha, you were in cycle 2. Kemba was in cycle 1. So original OG for sure. And then Sheena, you were in cycle 4. So it's a while back. But can you remember some of the things, some of the challenges, your personal challenges that you had getting through the process, or some of the great successes that you had in the process, and the successes you both of you continue to have, all three of you, all of us continue to have 16 years later, 11 years later, 12 years later. How what can you share? What do you feel led to share?
I so I I want to share.
Let me share. Let me share.
Hey, I can do the homework. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the assignments. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna do it. That was my,
I'm there early.
yeah. I'm on early. That was me. And and that it just that's it, we're going up deeper than that. It's not about just doing. You could do it, but why am I here, and how do I go beneath that? I don't want to do that anymore. And how do I not do that anymore? Who am I? And when I show and leave from a place of love, who needs to, who am I? Who's Natasha? What are my values? What will I not stand for? And until I understand that for myself, then I can show up authentically. And I think that was the lesson and the challenge, the beauty, the success, all in one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Continues. It takes time. It's taken me time, years, and I love it. There's
Mm-hmm.
always going back.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. I came at SLT the same way. And I also had really small children when I first joined,
Mm-hmm.
and I had not ever imagined being away from them. So there were times where it would be like, we have to meet up on this Sunday, and I'd be like, well, how can I go? Like, I have kids. And and then he would be like, yeah, it's okay. You get to also take care of yourself. And I couldn't comprehend. I don't think I really got it until the very, very end. But I find myself sharing it often with sisters. Like yesterday, someone had mentioned to me that she wishes she was a better sister to her sisters, and that if she wasn't so caught up in her own stuff, she could be there for her sisters. And I was like, isn't it okay for you to be caught up in your own stuff? Don't you get to have your stuff too? Don't you get to have time for you too? And I know that knowledge base came from sacred leaders. And so the challenge for me often was, how do I get to I say put myself first, and I'm apprehensive because I don't want to sound like an Instagram reel, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about like taking bubble baths, although that can be it, but what does it look like for me to hear my own thoughts, acknowledge who and what I am, and where do I want to stand in any given moment of time? And I'm so grateful to be here right now in this remembering of this is the work. This is what brought me to sacred leaders. This is what will ever keep me connected to sacred leaders.
Mm-hmm. That's so
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you. That is. Thank you.
I don't remember any. I mean, it's been a long time, challenges, but I, one of the things I continually value about this process is that being a Black woman raised in colonization, I was committed to rigidity as a space of safety. And sacred leaders training gave me the tools to gently, even post culmination, to release that in a particular way. And I don't remember if it's one on one or it was in a group session. Aina-Nia one day said, it doesn't have to be hard. A really simple sentence. And it was like the biggest light bulb, like that. Because I was living with this understanding that things had to be hard, despite, being working class, but middle class, having two parents, all these things. I had adopted this idea that things were a challenge and choosing for things to be easy um, has been such a gift. So sometimes people see things happening and I'm, calm as ever. It's because I'm making this choice over and over again to make things easy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to offer about there's so many things I could say,
Mommy,
but
you remember
those are
that
the things
easy
that
button you had?
I had a what?
That easy button?
I
The
I
had
push.
a,
don't remember.
yeah, you
Was
had
it
an
the
easy
red
button.
one? That
Yeah.
red?
Yeah.
I still use these concepts. Like, it's easy. It's easy. Let me not think this is difficult. This is easy. And life is easy. And it gets to be fun. And I can still feel like even the spray from everyone's lips talking about how fun life gets to be. Like, it's fun. It's a fun life. It's an easy, fun life. It gets to be that. And I get to choose that.
Mm-hmm. We get to choose, even in these these bubbles that's happening outside in the world right now, right? There is a world bubble happening,
Mhm.
and we get to choose our own bubble,
Mhm.
right? We get to choose every day. I get up, and that's what I love doing SLT, because every year that I do it, I am relearning. I am evolving, right? So it's not just the women. Every time because we do the exercises, we do the projects. So
Cool.
I am learning again. I have read Soul Mission Life Vision now for, at least 12 times, right? And go through the exercise. And every time I do that, I am learning something more. Every time I go to power versus force and I'm learning again and I'm evolving. So the same that is happening for all of you has been the same for me. And the challenge that I face every single time is, how may I support these women? Because every cycle is different and
Mhm.
every cycle has a different need. And my challenge is constantly, Aina-Nia, you go sit, your ego needs to sit somewhere on my left shoulder so that I can serve these women. Because if it was just for my ego, we would not have success, because I'm messed up. I'm a work in progress, right? So it's allowing spirit to go in front of me, allowing the ancestors to guide, so we can come here. So we're gonna wrap up so we can get to ask Kemba, kind of talking about the process step by step for folks. But I want you to share a little bit about yourselves, like the work, how you're serving the world right now. And also, so just two more things to think about, and you can answer them all at once if you want. So how are you serving the world right now, and how is the having been through the process helped with how you're serving the world, or taken you to how you're serving the world, or the choices you've made? And then who do you think should apply? Who should apply to this very unique process that you're all talking about? That, yes, you have textbooks, but it's really not about the textbooks. And it's not even about the gathering. It's not all of just about the gathering. So who should apply? But first, or secondly, whichever one you want to answer first, I really want the world to know who you are, all three of you, and not even who you are, but how are you serving in this world at this time? So those two questions.
Um, I my service comes in various ways. One of the reasons why I came into Sacred Leaders is because part of my purpose is in counseling and supporting people. So I am a peace counselor, and that happens in every moment wherever I am. But I also have consistently been a people leader. I lead a team within the city of Toronto that's focused on anti-Black racism and navigating the institution while being in service to Black communities is something that I'm so thankful that I have Sacred Leaders as a foundation for, because there's such spiritual fortitude needed to do this work and care for my team, Black folks who are doing the hard work. So for me, Sacred Leaders has been powerful in not just navigating people on the outside of the team that I'm in service to, but my team who, especially in this political landscape, go through it. So having those grounding tools, those spiritual tools, those ancestral tools that I'm very transparent about. We're not going to get this work done
Mm.
um, remotely all the time. We have to be together. We have to be in circle. We have to recognize our ancestors. We have to be clear about our needs. We have to be transparent and honest. And I am prepared to hold you in that. But also, when I come away from that work environment, I have community and I have tools that I can use to transmute what I'm holding for others. Um, so that's that's where this process supports my current leadership at this particular time. And I don't remember the other questions that you asked, but I feel complete.
Who should apply? Who should apply?
Woo! This is what I was going to say earlier. If you need and continually look for a community of women who are going to support your growth because you want to go to the next level or deepen or change how you want to lead in this world, this process is for you.
Mhm.
This process is the example I remember that we used to use that we don't use it anymore is not formally, but informally, like if you want to, collect garbage, you can use this process to be the best garbage collector that you want to be. It's not, there isn't the judgment, right? It's like, as long as this is your choice, we will support you in that.
Mhm.
Mhm. Thank you.
Wow. For me, in this moment, I'm an artist and I work with artists because I'm an
Yeah.
artist. I'm an artist of many things. I like to create. That's my nature. It's my spirit. I feel free when I do that. I am a self-employed producer, creative producer, and international market developer. I work with artists to get support with them with getting their work on stage and connecting to presenters. I work with my body. I'm a dancer. I like to move. I like to breathe. I like to laugh. And how this program supports all those parts of me is to allow myself just to be that, to hold it for myself and for my family and for others when I work with them and how I work and who I work with. Like for me, being able to make those choices is important. That's what freedom is to me, and that's what feeds me, and that's how this process has supported me over the years to get to this position where I can uh, with all the things that are with me, just bring them all and be like, this is me. Hey, you might take it or leave it. This is me, and I love you in this moment, and let's do some magic together. So, who's this for? If you're just ready to try something different, if you just like, what is it? I need that. There's something that I need. I'm being called. It's a calling,
Yeah.
and willing to jump and not even see where if there's a landing.
Hmm.
That's it.
Thank you, Natasha.
Um, so currently the work that I do is still inside the jails, but this is so cool because when I was first started with Sacred Leaders, I was teaching in the women's jails and some of the men's jails. I did that for a long time. But because of the process, I was able to there were some visions that I had that I needed to bring them to the world, and I did it. I did that. I had a publishing company. I published, God, hundreds of books. I was part of so many pieces. I also had a staffing agency, and I had employed over 100 Black people, and that was my like
Mm.
it was a strong vision of mine, and something that uh, my dad, he was like in the process of winding down in this life. And the night before he died, he had said to me, I want you to make sure you take care of Black people. And I was like, Dad, I'm doing that right now. Like, don't you see what Service Co is doing? That's my staffing agency. And he kind of winced and said, like, no, I said take care of Black people. And I couldn't figure out what that meant at the time. But it led me back to Amadeus. So I wasn't really teaching. My capacity now is more in a director role of supporting young people inside prisons and jails across the country. And so it has been, now I look at this work and I see uh, leadership for me now is not just, I am serving myself, and myself is everyone. And so because of the language I was able to take from, I'm saying language, but also lifestyle, way of life that I have taken from sacred leaders. The organization that I am a part of, we all call each other sisters and we call everyone that we serve brothers. And everybody knows that. And at first it was like, can I do that? But I do it. I don't care. What are you going to do? Fire me? I don't know. Go ahead. So I think that's a large part of who I am now, who I have always been, but I was afraid before. But now I'm no longer afraid to uh, see myself. And I think the other part that for some years I've been wanting to have more children, and it's been quite a challenge. But from the tools that I've gotten from sacred leaders is that I know I'm worthy whether I do or do not have more children. I know I'm worthy whether I do or do not have a big house. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy if I just lay in my bed forevermore. I am worthy and lovable. And that is a massive piece for me. And I think for any woman that is in a position that is, and by position, I don't mean work. I mean, when you're sitting down in that quiet place and you feel anxious or you feel like you think you're incomplete, which is a lie, but that is who needs to call on sacred leaders to remember what you are, which is lovable at all times, no matter what. And that is who ought to apply for sacred leaders.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for your sharing and your authenticity. One of the things we were really intending for is that folks will leave inspired um, about themselves, just their humanness. And all three of you have inspired me just in the things that you've said. So I thank you so much, especially Natasha and Sheena. I really thank you for agreeing to share with the world, you yourselves. And I want to just switch now, and we're going to shift to Kemba to very quickly share with our audience the whatever you want to share, Kemba, at this point around SLT and how to apply and so on. And then we're going to, if you are just joining us, this conversation is about the Sacred Leaders Training, which we call SLT Plus. It's a 10-month process that Kemba will go into in a minute. And all of us here have gone through the process, and so we are sharing with you. And hold your questions, put them in the chat actually, because our teams are taking are capturing that. So comments, questions, go ahead and put them in the chat as Kemba shares. Go ahead, Kemba.
Thank you. So this process begins whether you are sure or questioning, just like, I've heard all these things, or that's me, by going to Aina-Nia.com, where you can explore our website and look for the Sacred Leaders Training link to apply. The first step in applying is for us to get to know you a bit better, and then we will invite you to a conversation with us, Aina-Nia and I, and a sacred leader, just to hear more about why you've decided to take this path. And then if the ancestors decide that we want to invite you in, we will invite you to be a part of this process. And then you get to make a decision as well about if after all that you still want to join. And then we have 10 beautiful months. Sheena talked about the worthiness, and worthiness is what a lot of us have come into this process on. And so there are 10 modules. Each month we have an area of focus where we gather once a month to deepen our work, do various exercises, use tools. This particular process has lots of tools that has been designed in one way, but how you use it is specific to you. Um, In addition to that, you have accountability partners so that you and another woman can, or another, or a group of women can work through how you're building your vision. And what's important and unique about this particular process, in addition to all the things that I've shared, is that you get to meet with Aina-Nia once every 2 weeks in coaching sessions to support you in the growth of that process. Although we gather monthly, mid point at the fifth month, we gather in a retreat so we can be together and deepen our tools and be out in the bush sometimes and touch grass or hug a tree, but use those spaces to really have more time together. And at the end of it, at the end, at the beginning, I say at the end because it's
Mm.
the end of the 10 months, but then the beginning of your journey after culminating is a really big thing. But at the 10-month point, when you're culminating, as Aina spoke to earlier, we go to a country where traditional African indigenous practices still take place, and we get to celebrate the fact that you have gone through these 10 months and that you now are clearer in your vision and have decided how you're going to lead. um, and yeah, that's what I want to say. Do you want to add to anything?
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Kemba. I want folks to know that I'm always asked how much time. How much time? What I will say is that y- you this process is cannot fit into your life. You have to fit your life into the process.
Mhm.
It's an integrative process. So it's not you read something, you spew out some analysis. It's about the lessons that you're receiving, whether it's from a text or it's from a facilitator, it's from your coaching, it's from me, it's from Kemba, it's from each other, is about how you are integrating those lessons in your daily life.
Like you can't chat GPT this.
Cannot chat GBT.
That
Cannot.
won't help you.
You know why Kemba and I are laughing, especially in one of our circles? Somebody chat GBT a response to one of the exercises. So it's really funny that you say that. In one of the assignment, they chat GBT. And immediately I knew that this was, I was like,
Got it.
really? You can't.
Mm-mm.
You have to, your chat GBT has to be GBT, has to be the God inside of you, right?
Yeah.
That's your directive. It's what's inside of you. So I'm actually glad that you said that, Sheena. It's really about deep exploration.
Mhm.
Deep exploration. So I would want you to know, one is that you would be fitting your life into the process, not the process into your life. And two, you have all that you need.
Mm.
You
Mhm.
have all that you need. So we invite you. Of course, there is a cost to this process. Kemba didn't talk about that. I don't know why, but probably because it's online. It's okay.
Go to
And
Aina-Nia.com. You'll see
so
it.
of course there's a cost to this process, right? We do the best that we can to keep over the last 16 years to keep the process as accessible as possible. And we're operating from the law of reciprocation. And the law of reciprocation says when I give you something, you give me something in return. Therefore, it is returning back to you in multiple ways. So the law of reciprocation is really, really important. And knowing that, we want to make sure that we are paying the people who are serving you as best as possible. I
Mhm.
still think it's minimal, but at least there is an exchange. There are processes that we do. There are places that we go. We have a retreat in the middle of the process. And so there are many, many things to consider. But what I want you to do is to make a decision not from, oh my goodness, what this doesn't cost enough, because we still know it doesn't cost enough. We're still charging about a third of what it, what it really, what we think it
Mhm.
probably should be. But I want you to make that choice not from that place, not from a place of do I have, do I not have. Make the choice to apply from your spirit, from your intuition. If you feel nudged, led, pushed, if this is coming up again for you, because it came up when we were in cycle 5, and came up again when we were in cycle 8, and here it is coming up for you again, explore it. Because, first of all, whether you think you should be in this process or not is not what's going to let you in the process. The ancestors make the final choice, and they may say no if it's not your time. They never say no, never, but maybe no, this is not the time. So, what we encourage you to do is to take those steps that you need to take to make a choice, you know? And so that's the only thing I'd want to add, Kemba, to your sharing.
Thank you, Aina-Nia. Um,
I'm gonna check in with go ahead, Kemba.
Yeah, so to Shin's point, the cost is online. It's 10 months. It's $8,937, which is a fraction of the cost. You have the opportunity to pay that in full, or we can make arrangements for quarterly and monthly payments if that would suit you. And one of the things I do know is that uh, many women have come in and shared that, first, some of them, like within the first month, they received they've compensated us for what they've received. And so, and the gifting goes beyond the 10 months. Um, Even, I remember there was this one sister from the time she applied, we were in deep communication because she just wasn't sure. She wasn't sure, right? And so just know from the time that you reach out to us and you say yes, that we are going to be in relationship with you.
And it never stops. It
Mhm.
Yeah.
never stops. It never stops. So I'm just checking in with the team on whether there are any questions, and there are none. There are no questions. We do know that there are folks online. People have been coming in, but there are no questions. But what I want you to know is this live stream will be available on our YouTube channel, so folks can go back in. I do also believe that they are going to be sharing it. The way to apply is in the description. Our link is there. If you go onto our website, all the information is there. You're just going into self. We have our offerings are divided into teams and self. It is under self, and you can just go forward and apply. And if you can't find, for some reason, you can't figure out how to do this, just send us an email, info@ainania.com, or put something in the chat in the YouTube, and the team will pick it up. There's some things that I know they want me to say before I close off. If you have questions about the application, again, you can, if you don't do it now because you're seeing this after the live, just send us your questions to info@ainania.com, or put it in the chat and we will get back to you. Um, there will be concurrent watchers, so you can come on anytime. I think I have said all I need to say, and you can rewatch. I think they're telling me something more, so hold on. Sessions was okay. We got a comment, not a question, that the session was insightful and that they will be exploring the website. So really appreciate those of you who came online and was live with us on a Saturday morning.
Morning.
If you missed this, or if you just love our company and want to come back, We are back next week, Saturday, on the, I think it's the 30th, next week, Saturday. We are back at 2 p.m. for those who weren't able to catch us at 11. And you will have the opportunity to hear from two other sacred leaders. So you will get your fill. We look forward to you choosing for yourself, however that is. We're not attached to what comes out of this. We only want to make sure that we give you the information that you need. Peace and blessings to you. Thank you so much again, Natasha Ama Eck and Sheena Blake Brown. Sheena, your father is so present and continues to support us.
Ashe.
Milton Blake, you know what is interesting? I just want to say this and we're going to close off. It's interesting. I always say sacred leaders bring each other to themselves. Today we have two educators. Both Natasha and Sheena are masters of education. Neither of them are in the school system, but I wish in the formal schools, in the institutional school system, I would say. But also, both of your fathers have transitioned and continue to hold space for what's it? Thea, your father, Natasha and Milton continue to hold space with my father for us. So I want to just mention that and acknowledge their presence with us. And Kemba, thank you always for just being there with us constantly. You lead this process so beautifully and so lovingly and so kind and with such compassion. So we look forward to going into our 16th year together and our 10th cycle. Peace, peace, peace be unto
Can
each of
I
you, all of you. Yes, Kemba?
can I close us out with a reading for
Okay,
closing?
you are the reading girl. I think we have
Yes.
something
Yeah, before we
to
close
share.
out, you actually may have be watching this and you're thinking that it is great for you, but you might also think about another woman or women who this would be great for. Please share this link with them within various communities that you're in, and tell them to tell us that you sent them to us so that we know that we've heard from you. You know, I feel like again, this is from self. This is day 19. And when I close, I'm going to share the affirming question so that we can leave us off to reflect on this. But we start off with this affirming thought from Rabbi Lawrence Kushner: the leaving of everything behind, leaving the social milieu, no longer expecting relationships, memories, words, or letters to mean what they used to mean, to be, in a word, open. And Aina-Nia offers us this really succinct but powerful reflection. This is a great time to own your purpose and to live on purpose. Purposeful living does not include choosing by default, a
Mhm.
life based on culture, religion, society, history. Therefore, abandoning your own values, desires, and purpose/dreams. Purposeful living is about standing in your power and choosing to live your dreams, taking one baby step at a time with the knowing that you can because you are as you created to be, purposeful. And Ainania asks us, are you living a life of default or a life on purpose?
Hmm.
So I wanted us to finish with that as folks go away and take a look at ainania.com.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
That is a question that we all should ask ourselves every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice check in. Are we on purpose? So thank you, Kemba, for that. And as we leave purposefully so and with love and joy, we may or may not see you next week. And in the meantime, be well. And stay warm if you're anywhere on the eastern uh,
Do your
shore.
best.
Peace with you. Bye.